All right, let's talk about an orchid that's just stunning. It's called the Foxtail Orchid. And believe me, that name is spot on. We're going to dive into where it comes from, what makes it so beautiful, and even uncover its pretty surprising cultural story. So here it is in all its glory. The one, the only, Rhynchostylis Gigantea. This is the beauty we're going to get to know a whole lot better today.
Yeah, the Foxtail Orchid. It's such a perfect, descriptive name, right? It obviously points to something really special about it. So what exactly is that feature? What gives it that famous nickname?
Okay, to really get that, we have to go back to the beginning. Let's unpack the story behind this plant. Okay, so the official story starts in 1896. That's when this orchid got its formal introduction to the world of botany, all thanks to a botanist named John Lindley, who was the first to describe it.
And if we get a little nerdy and look at its classification, you can see it's part of the massive orchid family, Orchidaceae, one of the largest families of flowering plants on Earth. But the key detail here, the name you really want to remember, is its genus, Rhynchostylis. That's what truly sets it apart.
And this orchid, it's quite the world traveler. Seriously, its native habitat stretches all across Southeast Asia. We're talking Myanmar, Thailand, Malaysia, Vietnam, the Philippines, the list goes on. Now, why does that matter? Well, a wide distribution like that usually means one thing. You're going to see a fantastic amount of variety within the species.
Okay, which brings us back to that name. Let's talk about the bloom itself, because it's a real showstopper. And we're going to see exactly what features earned it that foxtail nickname.
The secret is in a little something called its inflorescences. Basically, that's just a fancy word for these long, densely packed clusters of flowers. And they're not just beautiful, they're super fragrant too. It's this unique structure, this cascade of blooms, that gives the orchid its signature foxtail look.
And when we say long, we mean long. These things can grow up to 37 centimeters. That's about 15 inches. Think about that. 1.25 feet of densely packed, fragrant flowers. It's a stunning sight. You can totally see where the name comes from now, right?
And remember when we talked about its huge native habitat and all that variety? Well, here's what we mean. Check out these two. On the left, you've got this absolutely gorgeous solid red form. And on the right, you have the super popular spotted form. It almost looks like it's been hand-painted, doesn't it? It's the same species, but they have totally different personalities.
All right, time for a quick botany lesson. You might be wondering how you can tell a Rhynchostylis from its very close relative, the Vanda orchid. Well, it's actually pretty simple if you know what to look for. It all comes down to the lip of the flower. See, Rhynchostylis has a simple one-lobed lip. A Vanda, on the other hand, has a more complex three-lobed lip. That little detail is the key to telling them apart.
So all this information isn't just for trivia night, you know? It's actually super practical. Let's talk about what it takes to bring one of these orchids home, because understanding its natural habitat is the absolute key to taking care of it. Okay, so if you want to grow one, the goal is basically to mimic its home environment. First, it needs indirect light, kind of like the dappled sunlight it would get under a forest canopy. So definitely avoid harsh, direct sun. Next, you'll want to use something like a wood slat basket. This lets air get to the roots, which is super important because these orchids have massive roots that prefer to be exposed. That's why you want to minimize any potting material. And finally, just think about its tropical home. Give it uniform water and fertilizer. It loves consistency, and keep it warm. It really thrives in warm to hot conditions.
But you know, this orchid story goes way beyond just biology and how to grow it. It also holds a really special place in human culture. Let's dive into its role as a state flower and the awesome cultural significance that comes with that.
Yeah, this beautiful flower is way more than just a plant. It's a symbol. It actually holds the very prestigious title of being the state flower of Assam, India. For those who don't know, Assam is a state in northeastern India, famous for its amazing wildlife and tea plantations.
And in Assam, it has its own special name. It's known as Gopufo. And having that local name is so important, right? It connects the flower directly to the people, to the language, and to the traditions of the area. It really makes it an essential part of the region's identity.
So the story of the fox-tailed orchid is pretty amazing, isn't it? It goes from scientific classification to its unique beauty all the way to its cultural importance. It really shows just how much there is to discover in the natural world all around us. And that kind of leaves us with a final question to think about. What about your own region? What natural wonders right there in your backyard have a story just waiting to be told?